we go. Going live at 5:30. I could make that rhyme.
Wow, good job with the chicks.
Thank you. No, wait, yes. Got ahead of myself. Roll them shoulders. It's pull day. Keep doing that while I start setting up. Alice is playing around in the kitchen, but she'll join us soon. Keep rolling them shoulders. 10 more seconds. Then you're gonna go into these overhead reaches, warming up the shoulders. All right, so we're gonna start today. If you've got a whole bunch of bands, you're gonna use them. Go like this if you've got the collection. I know I'm giving you contradictory information. I'm telling you to warm up, but I'm also showing you what to do here. You can pause me if you like, if you're using YouTube and this is tomorrow or something in the future. Apparently some people are watching these things that way. Next up, pause that job. Wall angels. This W to Y. W to Y. See, elbows are in, wrists are back, and you slide up and down. While you're doing that, I'm going to keep showing you this. Ow!
W to Y, W to Y.
W to Y. So yeah, I'm doing this. And now, if you've got it, add another one. Bands on top of bands. It's like Woodstock over here. Look at all these bands.
It's like your hair curls on top of curls.
Yeah.
On top of bands.
Yeah, if this gets about another foot long, I think it would fit in at Woodstock. And I'm going to smell like I'm in Woodstock. See what she's doing? Keep doing what she's doing. 10 more seconds of it. Fix your shirt like Alice did. So, and if you can be in two places at once, you've not only warmed up, you've also started doing this. Mm-hmm. So it's big band, loops to second band, loop to the third band. But now I'm going to confuse you. Let's say you don't have a second one that's identical to this one. Take one of your smaller ones. I'm assuming you bought a kit of some sort. Here, wait, I'm going to interrupt myself. Keep warming up. Right leg, left leg. If regular marching is too easy for you, this nice little running in place nonsense. Right, left. I hate that exercise, but you're going to do that if you can. If you don't have a third band that is heavy enough, take one of your smaller ones and just basically make it go short like that by folding it in half. Okay, so you'll take the end of the loop. I know this is very like what? Just go like this. You get it? So I have taken advantage of shortening it to make up for it not being as thick. Now it gives me a little more distance, but lots of tension. And now the whole goal of this is when I'm doing these pulls, it isn't just super heavy, or sorry, slack and then super heavy. You know, if I just pull this guy, okay, maybe he's heavy enough at one point in the rep, but he's going to be too slack at the beginning. Or if I start with him already heavy, I'm not going to be able to pull it very far, right?
Right. Good job, Sean.
That's for you to do, or your ankles don't want to.
She
already did yoga. She's warm. One more little warming-uppy thing. Plank position. She's already done this. She doesn't have to do this.
I do everything off of camera. Don't let him fool you that I'm not doing it.
No, that was legit. I was literally saying you don't have to do this. I mean, you just.
But I am going to do it because I do everything.
Oh yeah. Nobody's questioning that.
Apparently
no.
You are.
No. We can rewind the tape. You'll see I never would question that. All right. So now I've got 4 bands because I'm just going to leave this on just because it looks pretty. And then if you've got it, you can put a handle. If you don't have a handle, this is how you do it. You put this around your wrist and you grip like so. Anchor this bad boy in the door, and then you're going to be doing some standing rows. We're going to start with a row, but we're going to transition shortly to more of a pull down thing. All right, Alice, can I task you with moving the, well, actually, where do we go for this? I guess we can stay in here. We can probably stay right where it is.
Okay.
I'm just going to anchor this. So just to fill you in on the rest of what we're doing, take my little anchor. For those unfamiliar, this will attach to the end of my band. And now this goes in the door. Bye.
Lower?
Yeah, like about shoulder height. Okay. So once she's got that in there, I can begin my rowing. First set, just go regular. Just do a regular row to warm up. There we go. I know it'll slide a little. That's okay.
Great.
Looks good to me. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put this around my wrist. I'm starting relatively light, but now because I did 4 total bands, this feels fairly constant. It doesn't go, like it doesn't even feel like the weight changes. Like it's somewhat heavy at the beginning and only slightly above that at the finish. It's a 4 and now it's a 5 as opposed to a 2 and then an 8. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a few more of these. So we're just warming up this way. Then we're going to switch to these guys. But do your first warm up like so. Shoulder forward, shoulder back. Get that little scapular retraction, that little pinch as you pull. I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2. What's on your mind?
He's trying to spell something. It was like scapular, scapula.
Why is that so dim?
Maybe because you have your setting to be so dark.
All right, but it's recording brighter than that.
I don't know.
Nah, they can see. I guess. All right, so she's warming up. Just play around with your wrist. It doesn't have to be any specific, orientation. She's kind of going overhand and then neutral, maybe a little supinated as she pulls in. Anything's fine. When it comes to wrist position, I would say rule number 1 is just don't add any flex. Don't any kind of pulling exercise unless you've been advised otherwise. Like let's say like there's certain things like with gymnastics rings that you do like this sort of thing, like in a muscle up or something, but that's beyond the scope of this conversation. Wrist stays neutral. So whatever position it's in, just don't add a flex to it like that. Here we go. My turn. Left hand. How does this work?
Like that.
So we're kind of mixing it up. Today, we're starting with the band, and then we're going to move to the TRX. If you don't own a TRX, just stick with your band. Or the other way around, if you don't own bands, but you have a TRX, I guess just stick with your TRX. Word is, one of my clients tried to order bands like 3 weeks ago, thought it had gone through, never received them, got like, had an initial tracking number and all that, estimated delivery date, that came and went, and then they just said, sorry, it's delayed and nothing. I have a feeling that's happening to a lot of people. Everybody and their brother has decided to order home exercise equipment.
That's
Here, Al.
interesting because, I think if you order things in March or April, beginning of April, because I ordered stuff for Jennifer.
That was early enough.
That was early April.
Those who waited,
Yeah.
alas. All right, now, while she's doing her next set here, I'm going to just show you what we're going to do. I want to do rows hanging up straight upside down. Or not upside down, horizontal. So, if I just hang a TRX in the door, I can't be straight upside down. I said it again, horizontal. I want to be in the door, basically. But since the door is in the way, I need to anchor this around something that then just hangs. If you're out using scaffolding or a tree branch or a chin-up bar that's outside, great. We don't have those things. I mean, we could use our fire escape, but I don't know. Be weird. So we're gonna use my chin-up bar. You've gotta be careful. You can't do any swinging because now you'll feel it like slightly come away from the molding if you move forward or back. You've got to make sure you're going straight up and down. If you don't have access to this kind of thing, what you can do is use 2 pieces of furniture. If you have a couple of like chairs or a single chair, you could be underneath it and rowing like that, or anchor a bar between the two if you have a broomstick. Okay, but that's down the road. Next up, now we're getting heavy. So I didn't really warm up much today. I instead took the time to explain bands and things to everybody. See, I suffer for them. Alice, can you rotate that to face me? YouTube can see me, but not Insta. So now I've gone way back. Now I'm leaning forward because now we're doing a pull down. You're familiar with the lat pull machine at the gym or chin-ups, pull-ups, where you pull in line with your torso. That's what we're doing here. We've done this on many of the pull days. And I like to do overhand to under, but just like with those warm-ups, it doesn't really matter.
So this is parallel with the floor, so it's a vertical pull?
Yes, exactly. Vertical in that it's in line with your torso. I'm pulling parallel to my spine. Whereas a row, I would be upright like this, pulling perpendicular to myself. Whoa. And I'm just going to failure. Now you can rig this thing up so heavy, and if you go far enough away, it's still a fairly constant load where it is like a max lift. I mean, you could make it, a 5 to 10 rep max kind of thing. You could go really heavy. It's just a little too crazy in here. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going slightly higher rep. Shoulder can reach out and then pulls back. So scapula, you kind of shrug a little and then depress your scapula. Elevate scapula, depress scapula. That's enough of those. Al's turn.
Yeah.
There we go. Come. No, I think she can be kind of by where I was. I'm just going to move out of everyone's way while I fuss with this.
Like better now, you don't glare.
Yeah, the glare. And I'll just show these folks what I'm up to with the TRX. See that? I've looped the top strap through, and now this thing is just hanging on. But I can't put it in the door yet because we're using the door. Oh, right. I forgot how long this strap is.
Oh my gosh.
I have to double it up a few times. How are you doing over there?
I'm good.
I knew something was amiss. To fill everyone in on my struggles, this strap is so long, the top connector strap, that I would still be hitting the ground, so I have to just double it multiple times. I'll explain. We have plenty of time. So we're going to do 2 sets per arm. So I'm on to my first set for my left hand.
Can we start doing it?
You can, yeah. So you'll see what I'm dealing with. You loop it around and then do it a few times, just so that it's going to be high enough off the ground. Because when you do a TRX row, a suspended row, you don't want to just hit the ground with your elbows still bent. You want to be able to get a full hang.
We're not taking this off during this workout, right?
No. And yeah, it's much easier if you just are out in the wilderness and able to hang that thing on something. And we could just put it in the door and go at an incline, but I want to be able to do the fully horizontal today, as does Alice. I'm doing a little pause set here. I'm going to do a few more now.
Oh, it made it so short. I did it as tight as I could.
Well, it's not too short, is it? Actually, it doesn't matter because we can always lengthen it.
I was about to say, that's what I figured, so.
Oh my god. Burns when you make it burn.
It does burn. It gets in there.
Yes, well done. Cheers. So now she's got this rigged up where it's really hanging there. And I can always extend it a little bit once it's in position. Yup, it's pull day. And one thing I like to do is mix up single limb and double limb with the compound lifts. So on leg day, we do some bilateral stuff. That's a squat or a deadlift with both legs working. And then we do some single leg stuff like pistols and Bulgarians and things. On pull day, we do some double arm pulling, some single arm pulling. And since with pulling, we like to break it up, same with pushing, with horizontal versus vertical, I say pick one of those and make it the single and the other one make it the double. It's not set in stone. You can, by all means, mix it up. And if by necessity, limited with equipment or whatever, you have to go with double or single, you are doing just fine doing that. The most important thing is consistency and volume and intensity. All right, that's not a thing. That's multiple things. But yeah, you wanna go intense. You wanna be consistent, and you wanna do enough. If you're doing 1 of our pull sessions per week, that's darn good. If you're doing 2, that's really good. But it's more important that you just at a minimum get the 1. You certainly get more benefits by adding a second day of pulling in a week, but fewer benefits than had you not done anything. Does that make sense? It's a bit of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, which gets used for a bunch of different things. In this case, you could say that you get a whole bunch of benefits doing that first day of pulling. Say 80% of the benefits over the 2 days, and you have to do, I'm saying this wrong, the second day, all that extra work only gets you the next 20%.
What principle is that?
That's the Pareto.
Pareto?
Usually it's used to say like, hold on a second, I'm gonna back up again. Or they'll talk about like 20% of your clientele or customer base gets you 80% of your profits. And they'll also, I forget the first guy who said it.
Probably Pareto.
I mean, yeah, but what he was even talking about. And I'm probably using it partly wrong.
Do you think he was using it in the ratio of orange to green O's in Apple Jacks?
Yes.
80% orange and 20% green get you the perfect Apple Jack bowl.
That's a good bet.
Pareto, man
Good old
after my heart. Sean and I had an interesting. No, it wasn't interesting. That's a lie. We had a discussion about cereals, sugary cereals. As a kid, we have different tastes, and we haven't had them in years. But
well, the funny thing is, when it became apparent, I didn't really know what Apple Jacks were. Like I kept comparing them to Honey Smacks, and she finally said, "What? They have nothing to do with Honey Smacks. Why do you keep saying that?" I was like, "Come on, it's what's different brand, same thing." She said, No, you don't know what you're talking about.
like Fruit Loops.
Yeah, and they're much more like Fruit Loops. Once we Googled it, once I Googled it, she didn't have to Google it. She knew what she was talking about. I was choking at me bum.
So yeah, but that was Pareto.
Oh, and that was in there. Yeah. Insta's weird. It still always says, hang on, we're telling more followers to join the video. Didn't it used to say that, or did it? It did. I feel like it used to say it and then it went away.
I think it's trying to get more people to join.
Well, thanks, Zuck. Wasn't like so Instagram was it was created by other people. They sold to Facebook. Those guys stayed on for a little while and then I think they left.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them like flat out said something to the effect of delete your Facebook, or he's a big privacy guy. All right, so this is last set from my left, and you have one more in your left also. But I got a little off topic. Earlier I was talking about, I forgot we had these 2x4s under our radiator.
Yes.
We could use those to elevate our heels instead of books.
No.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we'll never get them back under there. She just got to know.
No.
Why not? We couldn't take them out?
I will get you 2x4s if you want.
In this market, we can't afford 2x4s. We can't even afford a 1x2.
Keep going with you. You want that topic again?
So anyway, if you're going to do multiple workouts in a week, the first one is the most important. The second one is slightly less important, and so on and so forth. Like the difference between doing 5 and 6 workouts a week is not that big. Whereas the difference between 1 and 0 is life and death. It's huge. So if you're doing all these workouts with us, great, awesome. You will achieve more benefits. You will hit more goals. You'll get stronger. You'll get more muscle. But if you're only doing 1 a week and you would not have done any otherwise, that's great. That is huge. Now that said, remember we split this up by movement pattern, or so pushing, pulling, and squatting, or back, chest, and legs. Hey, you probably want to try to, if you are really only doing 1 a week, pick a different one each time. So do a push, and the next week do a pull, and the next week do a leg thing. Good, Al.
Or just do 3 a week.
Or do 3 a week. 3 is probably much more palatable for a lot of people. I mean, I'm thinking, what with pandemic and all, what else are you doing? But yeah, I don't judge. I don't know what you do the rest of the day. There's a lot of people, their work did not change one iota. Maybe they were already working from home, or maybe they seamlessly transitioned to working from home, or maybe they're in a different field that home, office, none of that matters. It's all the same thing. On site, off site, whatever, on phone all day, on computer, whatever it is.
Or the market is such that they have to do more work now.
Yeah, could be. Join me in the kitchen.
Okay. And if you ever do really want to take those boards out of the radiator, you can. We just have to put it up before the radiator kicks in again.
Oh yeah.
Because it keeps it from
clanking
clanking as loud. I mean, it still does, but.
Okay. Check it out. Look what we built. This is going in the tub.
Okay. And then you're going to take the camera for a second, right? So I could have some assistance. Awesome sauce. Thank you.
I'm just going to put you guys down yonder.
Okay, here we go. This is okay.
All right. So this is just about right, I think. It might even have to go a hair higher. This strap is just so long. A TRX or a Jungle Gym is not as long. Now it's good. Okay. So if you're doing this like I am in a door, make sure the door is going to stay open. So I've wedged it. I'm going to be almost perpendicular because of the length of this thing, which I could shorten just a hair more, but I'm not going to mess with it. It's close enough. You'll see what's going to happen here. Alice, if you can just potentially... Oh, no, look at that. It's perfect. Perfection. Okay. Makes sense, folks? Ugh. Can you do that way? See what I'm doing? See, I'm down here on the ground. This is now going to be a horizontal row, or a body, or an inverted row, or a TRX row from 90. That sounded good. All right. And I'm just going to do a bunch. I thought about maybe doing singles on these, but I changed my mind, and we went with the singles with the band. Notice I'm adding a teeny bit of pull apart. You don't have to do that, but I like to.
So you could be doing, but we're not rowing with one arm here?
You could do one arm rows, yeah. That's pretty dope.
Wow.
Oh yeah. It's for that I would set the jungle gym up just because it's easier to have only one handle.
Right. Good job, buddy.
Nice. Shoulders back, shoulders forward, shoulders back. Okay, Al's turn. And just take note, if you pull too far this way, it can come that way. What were you going to say, my dear?
Just your wrist cuff.
Oh, my little wrist cuff, yeah.
Yeah, your superhero wrist cuff.
Yeah, I'm so smart that I decided to take the lid off our Instant Pot and then just like immediately hold it under or next to my arm, and I burn myself with skin.
My pants were under my heels. And I need my heels into the ground.
There she goes. Good stuff. Very good, Al. So notice how we've got that thing, right? TRX, or whatever you've got, is hanging as close to straight down as possible. It's obviously a little not because we're outside the door, otherwise our elbows kind of bang it. But that's
Oh, yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But that is, hey, you were doing those really well.
I was trying to bang them out because they hurt and they're hard.
Yeah.
So I tried to bang them out.
We should take slightly more rest, but we got things to do. We got to go get 2x4s to the lumber yard.
So the hardware store next door.
Look at that. Oh yeah. I'm so used to just walking in. See, I almost bit the dust. Alright, away we go. Now there is another thing you can do, and I'm going to do it on the next set, and that is you can put a little mini band around your wrists. That adds an additional vector to this. As you're pulling up, you're pulling your wrists slightly apart. That is brutal on that back, because now you're getting a little more external rotation in there. I keep doing that. I want to scooch out a little bit. Oh. Your turn, my dear. Yeah, I opted to do that.
That was so silly.
All right. While she's doing that, I'm going to talk you through this. Check it out. You can put this band around your wrists where where a wristwatch would be. That was unnecessary information. And then as you do your rows, you push your wrists apart, not your elbows, because you don't want to be like that. You want to be like that. As you're pulling, you want to think of opening the band. Try it. You'll hate it. Careful. Oh, okay. She's like, oh, I know. You don't know. All right. We're going to do 4 sets because we're flying.
Holy good night.
We're going so fast. It's only 34 minutes into the workout.
And what else? What are the reps are we
So
doing?
much. We're going to do curls.
Okay. That'll take 15 minutes.
No, less.
All right. We'll see. If you end exactly at 6:30, then you will have gauged your time wisely. If, but great, let's do this.
I predict 52-minute workout today.
Wow, okay.
All right, folks, see what I've done? I've got the band around my wrist. Now, as I pull, I stretch it a little. So I'm just adding 2 jobs to in one. No, I'm taking a break. Taking a break. This looks good. One thing working out at home does is it shows your home from a different angle.
It does.
Okay, that was hard.
Good job. I am going to not do the band.
Why?
I mean, I'll try it. I don't think I can do it.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
I think it is. I saw you doing it.
You will excel. You will exceed expectations. Here you go.
I hate it.
You hate it?
I hate it. It's like I don't know what to focus on.
Whoa!
You have no idea how hard these rows are for me to begin with. Now I have to focus on the other thing too.
Focus on everything and nothing.
That's not how this works.
Want to hear a joke that doesn't make sense spoken? It's supposed to be in print. I'm going to tell you anyway. How do you console a grammarian? There, but you spell it wrong. See, it needs to be in print. It doesn't make sense me saying it. I made that up.
Did you?
Yeah, it's my joke.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
Googled
good
it, and it
joke,
turns out somebody else made it up too.
Oh.
But I had not seen that when I made it up.
That's a very good joke.
Yeah, that happens every single time I think I've made something up. I Google it, and I did not.
A few of your jokes, you have some jokes that are totally original that are really good.
They were really good. Serviceable.
Oh,
They're not knee slappers. Shin scratchers, maybe.
I'm glad that my opinion means nothing.
Oh, no.
It's okay. No, go ahead. Show, go ahead.
I'm just being modest.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it starts to burn all so much. I don't know how I'm gonna get back up there. I'm gonna have to do a sit-up. We did those yesterday. Today's not sit-up day.
So I did 3 sets, sort of doing it right, like you're doing it, with the bands going out. And then I did the rest of the sets, not able to really open up the band at all.
Yeah, don't worry about
And
the
I
bands.
also could barely get 10, so I lost 3 reps.
Nah, don't do the band this time. The one was good though.
But I don't even know what strength that is to be able to do that. I guess it's like having to work, I don't know.
We don't do that much. I mean, back when I trained you in the gym now and then, yeah, that's rear delts, rhomboids a bit, reverse flies. We never really got to that much because you and I, we did a lot of compound movements. So I would train Alice in the gym.
Very irregularly.
Very irregularly. And she would take the occasional boot camp classes. Now, both my training sessions and her boot camps, they're predominantly compound lifts. So you're not going to get to things like reverse flies. That's an isolation movement. It's basically this with a straight arm, and it's getting your rear deltoid, your rhomboids, your mid traps. You're doing great, man. There's a lot of volume. Your back's going to be sore in a good way. After this, we're going to stick with the TRX to do curls. All right, go Alice.
Thanks, buddy.
I lied, by the way. We are using this. I know you had asked if we would, and I said no.
It's okay.
Uh,
Good luck on doing it.
oh, it'll be easy. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. While I'm doing this, why don't you do another set? Just kidding. All right, so we're going to do curls. How do you do curls with this? I'll show you. How did we do this? Now, if you don't have a TRX or a suspension strap, but maybe you have bands, you can use those. Just step on your band and curl it. It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right, let me move this. Can I ask you, my dear, to, I'm gonna be like standing here, but leaning back. So maybe up on the chair.
Okay.
All right, so I got this back under the door, or in the door rather. Okay. Always give it that pull to make sure it's in there good. Now, I see it's just the Velcro that slightly came undone. No problem. We're gonna do curls. So I'm gonna extend this a little bit. You're gonna want to rotate that hair. Now the toughest thing is sometimes just not sliding. I'm gonna see if a yoga mat does the trick. I'm just gonna have that on the ground. Maybe this will give me enough traction and I won't slide. I'm gonna do curls. See this? So again, you test it. Make double sure it's on there good. Okay, I'm gonna scooch in a little more. And now I'm curling. See that? Bicep curl. Now, with this movement, as I pull, I'm keeping my elbows high. So basically point your elbows at the anchor. If I do this, well, that's just a row in a weird way. It should be a curl. It's an isolation. My whole body, my body's the load, duh. But you do have to use some mental effort to make sure you're keeping it where you want it. So it's another way to think of it. Elbows pointing up or diagonally away from you, or elbows are on a table or up on a shelf. I'm gonna back up just a little to make it a little lighter and do a few more reps. Okay, your turn, kid.
Cool.
So yeah, underhand grip. And a slight supination's cool too. That's great.
Further in makes it harder.
Yes, walking closer to the door will make it harder. Good. Very good. Now these get the job done. They're not perfect because of the loading profile is a little weird, but again, it is just fine for our purposes. Option B, you're standing on a band and just curling it. So if you're unfamiliar with that one, I'll give you a quick demo. Whatever band you've got, maybe choke up on it to make it heavier, or just put it under one foot to make it somewhat lighter, and then do your curls like that. That's too light. Now I've got it under both feet. I separate my feet, so now it's giving me more tension at the start, and then I just curl away like this. Make sense? If you want to get fancy or weird or something, you could superset these two things things. They're a little bit what you call not a little, they are a competing superset. That's where it's the same muscle group, but also it's a similar, what am I saying? It's similar movement pattern. Now, the one difference is with these curls, it should kind of be harder at the bottom because I'm leaning back more, right? So here, as I'm steeper, meaning up here, I weigh less. The lower I am toward the floor, the more I weigh. And that's the opposite to the band curls. It's heaviest at the top. Because it's band tension, not gravity. Interesting, right?
Good job, buddy.
So just for kicks, I'll do that. I'll grab this little fellow, and I'll do a few bicep curls like that. Now I'm overloading the top range of motion. Or not the top range of, this. Yeah, where the elbow is most closed. Look at us all curling away. I think 2 sets will do it.
That's after this.
After this, we could change rooms, but that's easier to just stay here.
Why would we change rooms? What
Well,
movement?
I'm leaning towards putting us on the ground for back extensions. Not on the ground, on the couch for back extensions.
We could go wherever.
How'd you do?
Did it until I couldn't do it anymore.
Good answer. Okay, speaking of reverse flies, let's do some. If you have a TheraBand or your lightest long band is best. Get this under the left foot. Maybe wrap it twice so that it's really under there good. So like I've got the ball of my foot really pressing down on it. Now I lean over, thumb toward the ceiling, and now I'm doing a reverse fly. That thing I was talking about that Alice doesn't get to do much. But Sean, didn't you say we already worked this a bit by having the band around our wrists when we did the rows? Yes, we did a little. But now we're even further isolating it. And it's just good to do these things. It's good for shoulder health. There is an expression, I don't fully agree with it, but maybe the just saying it is good. 2-to-1 ratio, pull to push. So they'll say that to lifters. Make sure you pull twice as much as you push. Meaning if you bench press 3 sets a week, do something pulling 6 sets a week. All right, now we're gonna change. Lift out that way in like a V shape. I think this will be good for you because you're shorter. Oh. So yeah, I don't really think you need to pull twice as much as you push, but just saying that to some meatheads who never do any pulling is probably good to maybe they'll at least do the same amount of pulling. Okay, so she's gonna lean way over. She's got the correct grip, and away we go. Just a reverse fly. We'll just do 1 set per arm, and then we will do back extensions. All right, I was wrong. It won't be a 52-minute workout. It'll be an hour workout. Good. The 1 set per arm won't take us too long. So she's lifting straight out like that, and then she's going to lift in this V shape to do like another 10. Once she's really hit the wall, which is probably now. You're doing this well. Yeah, this is just a lot more pulling volume than Alice is used to. So when we used to train, we would do some chins, we'd do some rows, we would do a lot of one arm rows. But yeah, we never did bicep curls, we never did isolation work for her shoulder. I think single joint movements, they just come later in your program, both in your whole like lifting career and in a workout and in sort of a mesocycle, as we call the things. So let's say you're just getting started. Don't do a bunch of bicep curls. You're getting plenty of bicep work by doing rows, by doing chin-ups. And those, more importantly, train your back, train your lats, those big muscle groups. And then also, if time is limited, don't spend all your time doing the little stuff. Like this is a little exercise. Do the big stuff, especially early on. Again, in your lifting career, if you're 18 and you never really lifted, don't bother with small things. Do the big ones. Partly because you can only recover from so much, so you're really just beating yourself up a bit more without any strength improvements. Now, sometimes we have to do a bunch of isolation work because of an injury or something. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody has a funky knee, so they really can't bend it without a lot of pain, but we got to get their legs trained. So you do a whole lot of hip work because it's also going to work the hamstrings and quads in a way that will train those muscles that will not get worked from bending the knee. I'll give you an example. This guy does two things. He can flex the hip. He can also extend the knee. Well, if I can't extend my knee, if I just do a whole bunch of hip flexion, at least I'm giving him attention with one of his two jobs. Here you go. Oh, I didn't do my V-shaped one.
Do you want to do it?
No, I'll grab the red pen to do a few. What do you do that? So like, let's say somebody has a really bad low back and you can't do deadlifts, but you want to train those glutes and those hamstrings. Well, maybe you can do a bunch of leg curls. Maybe that doesn't bother the back because that's only bending the knee, but that's getting the hamstring. And then maybe you can do bridges. So now you've hit those muscles that connect to the hip joint, but without loading the back too much. And hopefully long term, you're able to get the other movements back in. It's just for a little while, they have to be on pose. It's like when the wait staff starts putting away the stuff on the other tables. Oh, they're closing up. They're closing up. We have to leave soon. All right.
To the other room?
To the other room. To the chair, couch thing. All right. We're going to be in silhouette, basically, and that's okay. Here you go. Because we didn't close the window shades. But you remember this one? It'll be like, dynamic lighting. It'll be nice. Okay, so I've stacked 2 cushions. I moved this couch so that I'm not going to hit my head. Obviously, you need a big arm of the couch if you're going to do this exercise. I'll put this here because otherwise it is going to be unpleasant. I set up here, and now I'm going to lie this part of my body right there. Alice is going to stop me from falling on my face, and I'm just going to do little back extensions. So this is the one, it's focusing low back, not so much hip. There's 2 different exercises you can do in this setup. All right. And might as well. Okay, so she's going to stop me from going anywhere.
Put your feet apart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Scooch up a little.
Can you tell me if you want more weight or less?
So with this one, I need This is the right amount. I don't need as much support because this is the back version. See, I'm rounding my low spine and then extending my low spine. The other way to do it, I would scooch out a bit further. She would have to hold me down much harder. I'm just going to scooch a little bit. And that's more hammy hip, whereas this is the low back. I'm going to rest a second. It's terribly unpleasant. I almost sat on you again, didn't I?
No.
I got to warn you.
No, you're good.
Okay. I like all the candles. What prompted that?
We cooked, so I figured
We did.
change the smell.
We cooked not one, but 2 whole chickens.
Yeah, chicken for days. We went to the farmer's market today. We got some fish from Warren. We've got the chickens from, I don't know the gentleman's name yet, but he's new to the market. He's pandemic new to the market. But he's lovely. He's very nice. He's adorable.
Yeah, the farmer's market changed a little when we from a couple of months back.
Yeah, different vendors.
Yeah, nothing negative yet. Is this enough weight for you?
Yeah.
Good. Around that low back.
Oh,
That's
wait.
a little too hippie.
Yeah, sorry, what am I supposed to do?
So like maybe scooch back a little. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Flex here.
Okay.
That's
And then-
right.
And so I stay around it the whole time?
Well, at the very top you extend.
Okay.
Good. And honestly, like it's not a crime if you mix it up. You can kind of do both. You can do sort of a hip and low back thing. For some people, it's educational, just kind of learning which is which. Like if you don't really know what it feels like to bend only your hip or only your low back, this is a good movement to get a feel for that. So here she's allowing some hip flexion, but she's getting a lot of lumbar flexion and then extension as she comes up. Looking good. And there's a lot of variations you can do. You can stay rounded in your back and only extend your hip, and at the top you don't even finish the rep. Like it looks like you're still rounded over. Here you go. We'll just do 1 set each.
Oh.
Just because it hurts my tummy so much. Yeah.
Then I could do more.
You want to do a few more?
Yeah, I was thinking I was doing 2 sets. You don't have to put as much weight on me. You just have to hold my calves down.
Gotcha. Was
Yeah.
I giving you a little hyperextension pressure?
It's just like it seems like you're doing a lot, and I don't need as much.
Gotcha. All right. Well, everyone, this is it. You all worked very hard, I assume. Have a wonderful day. Tomorrow's back to legs unless we decide to take a day off, but I don't know. I think we can train.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Ta-ta. And you?